You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Meant something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything. Just to remember that I was forgetting. Just to remember that we had a vision. Did it all, don't know how I did it. Start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we on the mission. Start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we on the mission. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the roads. Eyes ain't open, don't mean I ain't woke. Ain't got no cash, don't mean that I'm
Welcome. Welcome. I am thankful and grateful to be here co-hosting with Marcus Christolight, about to ascend beyond our limitations, dive into the unknown, and make a little more of it known to us. So I attune myself to the creative impulses that flow in, through, and as me, as the divine channels wisdom and understanding. You take it how it resonates to you. Let what resonates resonate. What does not, just let it just flow. If you put no energy of negativity towards it or needing to counteract it somehow, it just flows. And the energy becomes more energy for someone else. So take only what you need. Discern it. And then create from it. Welcome, Marcus.
Well said. Thank you. And welcome to everybody that is tapping in and joining us either live on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Thank you to each and every one of you for continuing to support us during this journey and this exploration of consciousness, as we are now on episode 11 of Ascending Beyond Limitations, the Raw Material Law of One study. And it's been such a honestly life-changing experience, especially for me, I'd say. Just a lot of really conscious cosmic reminders about universal truth of what we're a part of and what creation is with the creator. And I was really pondering on this. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. I was just really pondering on just how boundless and how much truth is within this knowledge, and how really even if you're someone that doesn't necessarily want to believe it, or you may not be ready to receive it, there's something about this knowledge that is just, it really covers the surface of all of us. And there is really what could you really lose by considering and integrating this type of knowledge into your life. Because when you think about what's being presented to you, it's about you, your empowerment. It is about all of us equally and the opportunities that we have within this creation as the divine experiencing itself through these illusions or temporary experiences and vessels. So, I just invite you guys to be open-minded, open-hearted as you receive this information, because it's not about trying to get you guys to believe anything. It's not about trying to make you guys think that there's only one way to living. It's just taking this knowledge in and seeing the wholeness of it and how it covers the surface of all of us. And I mean, why not try to explore being a self-empowered divine being that's equal to all and is filled with the essence of the creator that we know. And when I say that we know, whatever that is authentic to you within yourself. It could be God, it could be Buddha, Krishna, it can be Yahuwah, whatever it may be. Each their own. And this applies to all of it, no matter what your belief is. So, yeah, I'm just really grateful. Thank you for being a co-host, and I'm grateful to host me. And enjoy this. Everybody, grab your tea, grab your water, grab your snacks, whatever you may like. Burn some sage, grab your crystals, get cozy, and enjoy episode 11.
Right. Episode 11, I can't believe it. But I can. But I do. But it is. Right? We are the I and I that are the I. Right? You go, what, Sandee? Okay, how about this? We are the dreamer having a dream about the dreamer dreaming. We are the creator playing in the playground with a physical form. And everything that the playground opens up to the creator is created by the creator. Whoa. It's energy, right? It's energy seeking itself in form. That's what scientists would say for how they would present it. The universe is energy. It's seeking itself in form. It's created this illusion or this matrix. And then a person who is truly interested in that outside of itself, there's a God outside of itself. And the divine says, okay, I want to seek myself through this person, seeing myself like that. Let it be so. And every aspect of the divine is an aspect of all well over 8 billion of us playing a role. Did you hear me say that word? Playing a role. Now we as the human form turned it into work or the grind or it'll never happen for me. It'll never happen for me exactly like it's happening for that other person. I'll never be rich. I'll never be happy. I'll never be satisfied. Well, guess what? That's a role that the divine is feeling, or consciousness, or God, or the matrix, or the illusion, whatever label we're giving our higher being. But we were uniquely created. If you have a scientist break down your body to the minuscular part of your cells, of how it flows, they are blown away by us, by humanity. And they put it in writing in many articles, go find it, that we human beings are nuclear bombs in human form. We've got that much power in us. You've got power in you. If you intended, you could light up a whole city. And then the divine said, well, I want to talk to them. I don't just want to flow in, through, and as them. I want to be able to have a communication, network. And so every communication arena that we thought, we come up with these ideas and they're great thoughts. We create it from the energy that wants to serve. And now we have books. We have audiobooks. We have books. We have libraries. We have movies. We have films, documentaries, and make-believe, sci-fi and horror. We have human beings that have been here so many times through, or not human beings, the spiritual higher beings that have incarnate so many times that they're called our gurus. They're called our guardians. Guardians of the galaxy. That just came into my man. Oh, talk about the divine talking to you. And you're no different than any of the saints and sages and gurus and speakers like Michael Beckwith. You're not different than them. You've got all the same gifts and talents and qualities and skills that you're coming, just like Marcus and I and any of the others that you go to pages. Oh, we're a wonderful host for the most divine that's flowing through us. And I am thankful and grateful that I am an open and willing host that takes pride and not pride. Gratitude that I have been awakened to my calling, that I can serve. But you can too. You're no different. The only difference is that you separate yourself out. Be inclusive and include yourself in. You can be like Ra. You can be like Abraham. You can be like Brashar or Marcus or myself. Or God is switching the code. And many others. Take what resonates from here. Don't hold yourself back from judgment, because your ego will try to make a straight line and it can't connect the dots. But give it permission, because it's waiting to hear from you. Why? Because your ego is energy. And energy is here to serve. So have your ego sit back and listen. When it gets ready to give you a judgment and said, I got this, let's discern it. Take a pencil and a piece of paper and write down what doesn't fit you. Put it to the side and listen to what does. Are you ready to go? There's so much of the universe, the unknown, that even if we find more that we know today, there's going to be something else in the next now moment. You know why? Because the universe is still creating itself. On the seventh day, I truly believe that God did not rest. He just moved into another venue called us. And he's still expanding the universe. He, she, it, they, them. The all, the one. So are you ready? I am. Back to you, Marcus.
Ooh-wee. So as we continue on, I'm not sure how it's coming in on your guys' side, but I know there's some glitching going on my side.
Yeah.
I think due to the storms that have been coming in, it's kind of messing with the service and signal. So just bear with us, guys. Stay patient. Try to, move through the distractions and continue to allow the divine to flow through you. We'll do what we can and work with this. There's been some major storms going on in the country, and prayers and send some love to those down in Houston, Texas, and other areas that have been hit by major hurricane weather. And just want to cloak them with protection and safety of archangels, and may that be so. And then I see we got a lot of our IG fam house on the YouTube side. Welcome, Ginger, Nature Wolf, Coco, Stephanie over in the UK. God is. Welcome, all of you. Thank you. Ginger said in the comments, we are all blessed with individual talents and are made of greatness. We just have to push ourselves to bring those talents to the surface. Well said.
Well said.
And then Sister Coco said, Guardians of the Galaxy came through for me as you were talking, Sandee. I love that.
Yeah.
And she also said infinite potential.
Potential. Infinite potential. Yes. Infinite potential. That's...
It's funny you say Guardians of the Galaxy.
Pardon?
I was going to say, it's funny you say that because Guardians of the Galaxy, last night, I was laying in bed and I was getting ready to go to sleep. And, I was just like going through the Sacred Kingdom community space, upgrading it and stuff. For everybody out there, I have a community space. And if you're interested in something like that, just reach out. But I was just laying in bed and I was like, man, like, this is the real life assembling of the Avengers right here. Like, we are really assembling from all corners of the world with our gifts and with our unique talents and getting ready to basically really, anchor in and put in the energy and the projecting and manifesting of this new Earth grid that we're going to build with this community. And it just was a very beautiful feeling. It was like a upliftment of the inner child, feeling that, that fun Avengers type of feel. And then also that like higher, like supreme consciousness feeling of like, man, we're really doing this. Like we really are in this vessel and in this beautiful human community doing what we came here to do. It's truly amazing when you put the effort in and really use your willpower to be a willing vessel to do this. Not everybody's willing, and not everybody's meant to in this lifetime.
Yeah, not everybody's meant to. What confirmed that for me in all of my multi-dimensionality-ness. I just created that word. Okay, I think, because I don't think it's a whole word, because I put 2 or 3 words together. But the thing is that we came in with specific gifts, talents. We came in with all the same. The divine just put the package there, and you have these boxes that you can check off which ones light up, which ones you can use. So you can say, oh, I like Sandee's light language, but you got a box there that you can check off. Because I'm going to tell you that the first time Sandee ever heard light language, okay, and back about that time, it wasn't called light language, or not at least where I grew up at. I was about 12 or 13. I was in a holiness church, and I heard about towards the end of the church service, I heard a young lady. I'll call her young, but she was older than me. I'm like 12 or 13, so she's like 30. For me back then, 30 was old, okay? I'll just admit it. I grew up in the 60s. 30 was old, right? The first time I ever heard her speak that, I was visiting somebody else's church because I had an embodying question, and I heard this language being spoken, and I didn't know the word back then was alignment or resonated, but something was pulling me. So what was happening was that box, that gift was coming forward with the checkbox. It hadn't fully come into view yet, but I was being pulled into alignment with that. It wasn't until I got in a more adult state that it started to vibrate again and started to pull. So just because you're on people's pages and their gift is light language activations, or they do light language through numbers, or light language through art or whatnot, when you decide to allow that vibration to feel you, then if somebody is activating, you're going to be activated. But it's up to you to take it and take action on it. A person can activate you, but they can't take action for you. A person can give you all the seeds.
That one's a hit right there.
Right? But they can't plant them for you. I tried that. I took on so much energy, feeling like I didn't do what I was called to do, because some people were, they weren't even letting the seeds take a dive into the soil. They kept kicking it up and coming back and asking the same questions or making the same statements. And I took it upon myself that I'm maybe this isn't mine. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm no good at it. It made me really, really doubt myself. And then the divine said, Sandee, do you want to sit with me? Not me saying, I need to go. I was ready to sit in that sorrow for a minute. And I'm telling you, for a minute, right? And the divine said, can I talk to you? The divine will ask you, can I talk to you? If you've opened up a two-way conversation with the divine, it doesn't just go one way where you talk to the divine. It doesn't just go one way where you open up to your higher being, and then when you have that conversation, you shut yourself off to the higher being. You can. If that's the story you want, the divine says, let it be so. But I opened up, I heard, and the divine, through the divine's confirmation, through conversations that the divine had sent other people to go, Sandee, you can't do it all. I know you want to. I want to serve. I freaking want to serve, and I want all of humanity to wake up to their triune being, to their beautiful, all that beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, magnificent energy that you have in you to create for you, not just selfishly for yourself, but for all of humanity, for all that you cry out for the peace. But I now understand I can teach, I can inspire, I can motivate, I can teach, and I can edify, but I can't make you take it. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I watch my dog. I will pour water in there. I will see him panting. I know he needs water. I will tell him, here it is, but he'll go over someplace else, lay down, and keep panting. When he's ready to drink the water, he will. It's the same for Marcus, me, anybody else that you go to their page. We can't make you take it. You can keep coming back, and you can keep asking the same embodying question, not honoring yourself and listening to the answer. Because sometimes the answer that you get is not the answer that you want. But it's okay, because the divine says, let it be so. And you go, well, if God is doing all this, why doesn't God change my mind? Because the divine gave you free will. And the divine said, your will is my will. I'm seeking through you. I'm seeking experiences, and then I gave you everything. There's nothing that I forgot. And I gave in beings that come to you and give you information when you need it and how to take it. And then you take it into you and grow you from the inside out. And then you use it in your everyday life. You hear people say it's nothing but illusion. That doesn't mean you stop fucking living. It means get creative. If it's illusion, illusion is malleable. Think of illusion being putty. Think of illusion being sculpting with clay. Think of illusion being you as a little kid building in the sand. Think of the first time you ever went to the beach and you saw all that sand and you said, you might not have said shit. I probably did, because I just think I have a potty mouth from forever. But holy moly, what I've got, this is what I can play in? And that's what Ra is saying. I've come to deliver the word from the law of one, the creator of everything and nothing. And guess what? He or they are delivering the word to the divine, moving and flowing in and through you. Ain't that paradoxical? Scientists haven't even figured that freaking shit out yet. That we are the divine, moving in and through us as the divine, telling a story to the divine, having an experience with the divine, all for what? The law of one. That's us. Holy shit. I didn't know all of that was going to come out. Let it be so. What resonates with any of you, let it resonate. If it doesn't fall yet, just let it fall and flow. Let it fall and flow. Don't take any time to judge it. Just let it flow, because somebody else is going to pick it up and go, ooh, Sandee. Oh my God, Marcus, I'm so glad we stopped in here. Even if they stop in for 5 minutes. You get a little something for you. Back to you, Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Did he freeze? No.
Shots fired.
Shots fired?
Wow.
Outside? Is it shots fired from the divine, or shots fired from outside your apartment?
Oh, definitely from the divine. Like, wow. Dropping bombs. Man.
Dropping bombs, yeah.
Well, that being said, I'm ready for the raw material. We got a little bit shorter podcast today. So whenever you're ready, I'm ready to dive into what Ra has to say.
I'm ready. So what the divine showed me, right? And this comes from book 2. The questioner asked, is there a loss to the mind or the spirit after this transition, the transition called death? Or right? And Ross says, this is correct. The mind, body, spirit is quite intact. The physical body, complex you know now, associated with the terms body, being but manifestation of a more dense and intelligently informed and powerful body complex. Right? We are body, mind, and soul. The reason why the divine keeps me saying triune is because we work together as wholeness, but we get to also experience are the different parts of our body, the way we want to experience them, the way we want to tell the story. What the divine told me is we can have certain deaths in certain part of our bodies and then rebirths. We're doing that all the time. Blew me away. The reason why the divine brought this to me is because as a kid, I never thought about death. I never thought about limitation. It didn't happen to me until I was in my 30s and my mother passed away. Now, it's not that I didn't see or hear of other people passing away, but they were distanced from me. They were part of a different story. I didn't focus on it. When my mother passed away, that was in my story. And then I focused on that then that's where the idea through my ego, through that perception, oh shit, I'm limited. We are part of a system, okay, here we go. And this is why the divine had me watch Madam Web and spiders and how they do their web. And it's a system. Spiders don't normally do their web from one line to another. They do it intricately. They have different rooms and octaves and vibrations, but it's all wholeness. Death doesn't separate us. Somebody is going to watch this as a replay and understand that death is a closing of a story, but it's opening of another one for you. Ra goes on to say, in other terms, nothing whatsoever is important is lost. The character, or shall we say, pure distillation of emotions and biases or distortions in wisdom, if you will, becoming obvious for the first time, shall we say, the pure emotions and wisdoms and biases and distortion beings, for the most part, either ignore or underestimate during physical life experiences. They keep death and life separate. It's all one cycle. Somebody needs to know that. They're going through the death of a loved one. And they feel conflicted because they know this. But in body, they can't get back to the knowing that it's all one. And the divine is saying to you, it's okay. Go ahead and feel into your emotion. That's what I gave you a body for. That's what I gave you emotions and feelings for. You won't be not honoring your loved ones when you're ready to let go, because you know that in the vibration of the story, they've just moved to a different place on the chessboard or the checkerboard. And the divine is allowing me to feel that pain right now and let you know that it's okay. When you're ready to release, the divine will be there. The divine is there in your pain, and it will be there in your surrender, your release. And then it will be there when you come into the wisdom that you know that your beingness your wholeness of your loved one is still with you. You'll vibrate there. And no, you won't be afraid of it. The divine will hold your hand through it. So, in terms of the spiritual, this channel is then much open due to the lack of necessity for the forgetting characteristic of third density. Your higher being, the higher beings of your loved ones won't forget you. They have a remembrance and a recalling of you. So the questioner asks, I would like to know how the mind-body-spirit complexes originated. Everybody asks where we came from. Where did God come from? We think if we know where God came from and how God started, then that explains us. Are you ready? So it says, complexes originated, going back as far as necessary. How does the origination occur? Do they originate by spirit forming mind and mind forming body? Can you tell me this? Ra says, I am Ra. We ask to consider that you are attempting to trace evolution. This evolution is, as we have previously described, the consciousness being first. In first density, without movement, a random thing. First density is the creation by thought, by intention. The divine intended itself to be formed, and it thought it. First density, if we're only thinking about earth consciousness, her coming into beingness, the rawness of it, the rawness of the fire, everything forming, gas, everything. Hence we go back to the divine just didn't rest on the seventh day. The divine was busy within itself, creating itself. Whether you may call this mind or body complex is a semantic problem. We call it mind-body complex, recognizing always that in the simplest iota of this complex exits in its entirety the one infinite creator. It acknowledges the social complex called Ra, acknowledges that the creation or the origination is the creator, right? This mind-body complex then in second density, discovering the growing and turning towards the light. It became conscious that seeds could be intended, just intended and embodied, and then it could grow towards the light. So it had to come from within and come out. So when we're saying go within, when you're meditating, praying, when you're just taking in a moment and you're thinking too much, and then it says just get silent, go within. You go within and grow from within, and then it sprouts out. How are you going to use whatever is growing from within? Are you going to pick it apart, judge it and pick it apart? Or are you going to discern it and help it grow into whatever your call? And let's not even say a calling. Whatever you want to create. Does that have to be a calling from the divine? It's about your growth, your expansion, you living your dream, your reality, your illusion, whatever you want to call it, right? Thus awaking what you may call the spirit complex, that which intensifies the upward spiraling towards the love and light of the infinite creator. And when we say upward, it can be all around you or upward within you, from the root chakra all the way through all your chakras, up through your crown chakra, and then out through your other chakras that surround you. We only talk about the 7 most of the time, but Marcus goes through many of them when he does his meditations. Let's read that last line again. It says, the one infinite creator. It ends with that, and then it has a comma. This mind-body complex, then in second density, discovering the growing and the turning towards the light, thus awakening what you may call the spirit complex, that which intensifies and upward spiraling towards the love and light of the infinite creator. So when trees grow, when plants, flowers grow, when your fruits and vegetable grows, they're growing up towards the light of the infinite creator. We think it's the sun, but it's the infinite creator. And the sun is just one of its many possibilities of how we view it in our story. Then Ra goes on to say, the addition of this spirit, though apparent rather than real, it having existed potentially from the beginning of space-time, take the comma. So we're going to take a pause. From the beginning of space-time. Now remember, Ra is using our time based in 3D, third density, based in our English language of what they're vibratorily trying to tell us. They're using the best version of our word. Then Ra goes on to say, this space, it perfects itself by graduation into third density. So there's a graduation from second density to third density, because now we become aware of self. Not just us, but earth consciousness becomes aware that it's aware. The divine, and the divine wants to know when I read this next sentence that Ra is tapping into the divine, the law of one. When the body, mind, and spirit complex becomes aware of the possibility of service to self or other self, then the body, mind, spirit complex is activated. Higher beings playing in the playground say, ooh, it's time to take a body. It's time to take form. Ooh, it's time. I'm aware. I'm aware that I can go play on Earth now. I'm aware I'm about to have fun. Back to you, Marcus. I'm not sure. Does Marcus want me to keep reading?
Did you pass it back to me?
I passed it back to you.
Oh,
Because Divine says you
I
have
have really bad service out here because it's morning.
It's raining, yeah. Do you want me to keep reading? Shall I?
Yeah, I think it hit the towers, but I'm glad everything's clear on everybody else's side. At least that's what really counts. Wow. Oof. Where to start?
Wow.
Phew.
144.
That separation thing. Separation has really gotten us in a lot of ways. And when we start to dissolve that separation, we start to eliminate fear even more within our system. And the more that we can eliminate that fear through dissolving separation, you start to feel more closer with all that is. You start to feel closer with your brothers and sisters, the animals, the trees, and all the elements of the earth. And I know it can be scary sometimes. I know it can be very triggering to, lean into that interconnectedness, lean into that trust of the divine within all. And even through my fears, even through my nervousness and other things, I mean, even for example, like, getting up in front of crowds of people at these events that I go to, and some of them are literally like, shamanic elders, native elders that we typically look up to. And for me, I honestly had never even dreamed years ago of, being in spaces where I'm facilitating meditations for shamanic and native elders. And part of that is I get nervous. I do have a little bit of egoic fear in the background sometimes when I'm driving over to those events, getting ready to go teach. And it's part of the process and it's natural. So I just wanted you guys all to know that, as much as I do what I do publicly, at events, online, moments where my human beingness gets a little anxious, gets a little nervous, and sometimes even maybe a little fearful of what could be the outcome of presenting myself up in front of all these people vulnerably. I choose to embrace it still, and I just put myself in the places to be able to still move through and put forward the actions. And this is something I've always thought of for a long time, and I've told people is, sometimes it's not even about, what you think or what you're feeling. It's just putting yourself in the places to be able to be in the places, to put yourself in position to then do what it is that you intended to do. And I find every single time that I just put myself in that place, despite my nervousness, even despite the fear, once I'm there and it comes time for me to present, or it comes time for whatever the situation is, I find that once the time comes, it's almost like my higher self or the divine just takes over, and then it's exactly how it's supposed to be. And I end up having this peace and this spiritual flow come through me because I placed myself in the position for that to take place still, despite my fears, despite my nervousness, and the other things that come with this human nature. And you can apply that to your own life as well, in your own ways, along with this text and what it's saying. Death is one of those things where it's almost like a forbidden conversation for some people. Some people do not want to talk about death whatsoever. But, you know, as we say in our cliches, there are only a few things in life that's unescapable, and death is one of those. And when we learn what death is from a balanced and universal standpoint, we remember that we die every day. When we have an ego death, or when we believed something about somebody and then we see a different side of them, and all of a sudden it destroys our whole entire perception of them, that's basically a mental death that you're going through. You're going through the death of what you used to believe, and what you used to be is now being shattered, dismantled, and brought into a new field of perception, a newfound field of awareness. And just know that this motion of eternal flow, where death leads to life, life leads to death, death leads to life, life leads to death, and it's a continuous flow. And there's, of course, many other elements that come into all this when it comes to the even finer details of what we are in this existence, such as, you know, different planes have different attributes, different purposes. You know, there's actually some really good Disney movies out these days. The newer style Disney with this generation of producers have been producing some really, really soul level wisdom and knowledge filled productions, such as Element, In and Out, Soul, one that literally shows you the multidimensional planes of, you know, how our soul exists in a soul level, and then how it comes into the lower planes as a human being. And of course, some of that stuff, but at the same time, a large percent of that is actually based off of reality. And same with sci-fi and science fiction. A large percent of it, they say about 93% of sci-fi, equal multidimensional awareness in our reality. And a lot of these producers and writers channel a lot of this information. It's actually a fact that Star Wars was channeled by the writer.
Yes.
Back to you.
Yes. Yes. Star Wars, Star Trek, everything. Well, take what resonates in it, because if you watch it all the way through, there's some stuff that you look at and you go, that ain't for me. But then you'll get to this one part where you go, what? Right? I mean, everything. Because I grew up with the original Star Trek, Mr. Kirk, Captain Kirk, you know, Uhura, and now, you know, I mean, it's just, oh my God, it's just, I'm kind of like, I'm having this whoosh all through me, because it's so much. There was a movie. I watched it yesterday. The Divine I can't remember the title of it. The Divine isn't bringing it me to, but I'll give you the premise. The premise is Earth is owned by an earthling whose incarnation was from the cosmos. And Earth, in it, the premise of it is that earthlings are being harvested for their cellular regenerative purposes in their body, and it's being siphoned into juice to keep people in other galaxies that own the Earth, right? The premise of that, right? And the story is that where what blew my mind is as a kid, I used to always think, and I said all of that. I don't know. It's Neela somebody played in that. Neela, I can't remember her last name, but
what's the movie called?
Yeah. Pardon? I can't remember the name of the movie. But she's a princess, and she.
Talking about Mila Kunis?
Mila Kunis, yeah, and she played in this movie, and she played in this movie. But what blew my mind to get to that?
Oh, is it Jupiter Ascending?
Yes, Jupiter Ascending. Thank you. Okay, I guess it was my ego was hiding it from me so that I wouldn't talk about it. But you see, I'm still talking about it. But what it was I used to always say as a kid, the rings around Saturn were hiding a civilization. They weren't just a bunch of gases. They were energy created by people that were hiding themselves. And when I watch that movie, and every time I watch it, that keeps coming to me. That, oh, my higher being is saying to me, yeah, you're correct. Every higher being that is playing with us in this realm doesn't want to be seen. And think about it. I get it. Because we as Earth, or we're not catching up with Earth's consciousness yet, because we're still want to stick in this 3D version because we're fearing the unknown. Well, most higher beings don't want to be visible to us because our fear still drives us. Every movie that we had seen up until maybe the early 2000s was the government going out into the stars seeking the manifest destiny aspect, which means we were put here in this world. We're the only ones on this world, and we're meant to go out and conquer. We're going to put it under the guise or mask it as exploration. But now the divine is speaking to us, going, you enough of your energy quotient as a human, as a collective of humanity, not collectives of us waking up and being the collective and being this, but of humanity. The light quotient has made it so that more of this can be revealed to us. There's a statement that Christian from Kokoru Creation says. She says, where spirit and science meet, or science collides, that's where she resides. We used to be so separate that it either had to be religious and science.
Yep.
Right? We got to the point where we were being told that God is outside of us and church and state are separate. So they wanted us to think. But now we're at a point where the energetic quotient of all of humanity has caught up enough with Earth consciousness to make more of this available to us to become unveiled to us. Not only were our higher beings being unveiled, there was a lot being unveiled because of our mere desire to control and annihilate. But now we're opening ourselves up to an infinite possibility. We're taking ourselves away from being fearful to being a little bit scary. And knowing that, now you know the divine will say, yeah, that's a choice too. Let that be so. It's okay to be a little bit scary because you can move up the polarity to it being, oh, you know, it's scary, but I'm excited. I can't wait for what happens next. To, I'm just going to let it flow. Those are vibrational leaps. You're leaping. And as you're leaping, you're hiring the light quotient in your body. And your light quotient in all of your body, in every cell that is talking to Earth consciousness and her body, we're shifting. We're growing, we're expanding. We're asking a deep embodying question of a non-truth, and now we're making it into a possibility of a truth until something changes that and we shift again. Back to you, Marcus. Back to you, Marcus. I'm sorry, I'm dancing.
That is so on point. And something interesting that's happening right now is that my Instagram is still going.
It's still going?
That's cool.
And it took you past an hour?
Thank you. But
let it go and let it flow. But you do have to go, so
yeah, I really don't want to leave right now, but I do need to tend to my father at the hospital. Well, not the hospital actually. He's graduated and progressed to the rehabilitation center. So he's now one step away from finally coming home.
Yes.
And for everybody out there that's not aware, about 2 months ago, my father had a brain hemorrhage, and he actually nearly died. He was very close to dying, and he has a very strong spirit, very strong soul. He knows how to continue to fight, and he's something else. I learned a lot from him, that's for sure. But he has progressed now. He was having some organ issues for a little bit. He was having some blood pressure issues. I gave Reiki to him for 5 days in a row this week and the last week. And that's helped to regulate his blood pressure to 112, basically at normal. And then he's had full liver function. And now he's in the rehab center for about a couple of weeks, just working on his physical self and getting himself integrated into his physical again. And he'll be heading home. So I got to hop off of here and bring some clothes to him so he can have some good outside clothes to wear, so he can feel a little normal in his human self. And then I'll be on my way to go do my pizza delivery. So I really want to stay longer, but we'll be back at 3:33 p.m. Pacific time and 6:33 Eastern as we explore more of this raw material for our normal 2-hour period with all of you guys. Thank you guys all for participating too. Like, wow, I can feel the growth. I can feel the community. I can feel the expansion that's coming in with all of you beautiful souls that are participating in the comments on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Thank you to all of you guys. And yeah, just reach out if you guys have questions for either of us, or if you just want to have conscious conversation about these kind of topics, or if there's something that you receive in a download during these lives, feel free to reach out to us or put it in the comments in the replays or on the YouTube, so we can all explore, share, and have fun with these downloads that we're getting about our reality and multidimensionalness. But yeah, Sandee, any closing words?
Well, when I first started this journey on Instagram, I started it because I wanted to inspire and motivate and teach about the universal laws, especially the law of manifestation. But what I did was, the first law is the law of the divine oneness, or one. And what I wrote at the beginning of that, the divine showed me and said, hey, share. I went, okay, I'll read what I wrote. This is thought to be the first law, the original law by which all was created. It simply states or reveals that everything is interconnected. We are connected by energy, and we and everything around us vibrate one source of frequency. Scientists know that energy is neither created nor can it be destroyed. It can only change. I wrote that at the beginning of everything that, I just said, this is what I want to be. I want to be a speaker. A podcaster came in afterwards as I started to get upgrades and like Beyonce says, upgrade, so this is who we are, right? The divine is saying, I seek myself. I seek all of myself everywhere and nowhere. And yes, I want to do it in form. I can do it in energy. I can do it in octaves. I can do it in infinite possibilities of everywhere. I've done it before, but this will be the greatest thing I ever do because I'm doing it in collaboration with the aspect of me called Earth Consciousness. I'm playing with Earth Consciousness, and she has invited us to play with her. To be the law of one, the first law. To be the first law. We're the first law. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Go find that energy from within if you want. Have a discerning dialogue with your higher being and the higher being that's attached to the divine that's flowing in, through, and as you, and find out if it resonates for your highest, greatest good and for the greatest good of those that you are serving, if you are serving anyone. Because remember, you can only serve self too, and that's an infinite possibility. That's a choice. And then go create. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming back Sunday at 3:33 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6:33 Eastern Standard Time for more of, say it with me, Ascending Beyond Limitations.
Ascending
Beyond
limitations.
Ashe. And I guarantee you guys,
Ashe.
I am getting with Marcus is showing me the ropes, and pretty soon I'll have another device where I can actually see the people that are following me on my Instagram and be more interactive with you. But for now, he does a very good job for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yep. We'll have that good to go by Sunday.
All right.
And yeah, guys, get that Kundalini flowing, get that inner energy flowing. And if you don't know how, look into yoga, breath work, chakra balancing, meditation, dance. Listen to more of these podcasts. All these things are beautiful things. Qigong, Tai Chi. Look into all of these things if you wish. Massage, acupuncture. They all help you get that inner consciousness flowing through you. And we'll touch more about that as we hop on Sunday. I love you guys and have a beautiful day.
Be blessed. Be loved. Be the creator. Bye-bye. Peace.
Ashe.
Ashe.